What if the real reason stubborn belly fat refuses to disappear has nothing to do with discipline, motivation, or how many calories you track each day? What if the answer isn't in your workout routine, your macro breakdown, or the latest trending diet, but in a single overlooked moment that happens every night? Most people never think about it. Yet this one quiet shift determines whether your body burns fat while you sleep, or stores more of it. For decades, Americans have been told fat loss is simple math. Calories in, calories out, eat less, move more. If that equation were the whole truth, weight loss would be predictable and permanent. But it's not. Millions of hardworking people count every bite, hit the gym consistently, and still watch the scale stall. Something isn't adding up. Modern metabolic research is revealing why. Your body is not a calculator, it's a rhythm-driven biological system. Your metabolism runs on timing. Long before refrigerators, late-night snacks, or 24-hour drive-thrus, the human body evolved around light and darkness, activity and rest, feeding and fasting. These patterns shaped how your hormones function. When those patterns are respected, your metabolism runs smoothly. When they're ignored, your body doesn't panic, it adapts. And one of the first adaptations is slowing fat burning, especially around the abdomen. Here's the part almost no one talks about. Fat loss rarely fails during the day. It fails at night. It fails in a narrow hormonal window when your body decides what it will do for the next several hours. Will it repair tissue, burn stored energy, and reset metabolic pathways? Or will it remain in storage mode, protecting fat reserves like it's preparing for a famine? If you felt frustrated watching your waistline stay the same despite doing everything right, this is critical to understand. This isn't about laziness, it's not about weak willpower. And it's not because your body is broken. Your body is doing exactly what it was designed to do: protect you. The issue isn't effort, it's timing. The human body learned to anticipate when food would arrive and when it wouldn't. For most of history, eating happened during daylight hours. When the sun went down, food stopped. That nightly pause allowed the body to shift gears. It moved from feeding mode into repair mode, from storing energy into accessing stored energy. That shift is automatic, but only if you allow it to happen. Today, food is available 24/7. Late dinners, evening snacks, desserts after streaming shows. Even healthy nighttime bites keep your metabolism active long after it should be winding down. The problem isn't necessarily how much you're eating. The problem is that your body never receives a clear signal that eating has stopped for the day. And that signal matters more than most people realize. The shift begins at a surprisingly ordinary moment, when you finish your final meal. Not when you fall asleep, not when you wake up, but when your body recognizes that no more food is coming in. That's when the internal countdown begins. Digestion continues for a few hours, blood sugar rises, and insulin steps in to move that energy into your cells. This process is normal, it's healthy, it's necessary. But insulin has a second job: it's a storage hormone. While insulin is elevated, fat burning is essentially paused. Your body will not tap into stored fat while it's still processing incoming fuel. It doesn't need to. Energy is already available. So as long as food keeps arriving, late snacks, sweet treats, even small bites, insulin stays elevated. And fat burning remains locked. When eating ends earlier in the evening, something different happens. Insulin rises after your last meal, does its job, and then, critically, it falls. Blood sugar clears. Digestion finishes. The system quiets, and this is where direction is decided. The window between your last bite and bedtime determines whether your body will switch into maintenance mode. If you eat close to sleep, the system stays busy. If you stop earlier, your metabolism gets a head start on transitioning into repair mode. That quiet buffer is the handshake between your habits and your hormones. This isn't about a rigid rule or a magic clock time. Everyone's schedule is different. What matters is consistency. Creating several uninterrupted hours where no new energy is entering your system. That gap allows insulin to settle. And once insulin is low, the metabolic environment changes completely. Most people unknowingly delay this shift night after night. The result? They never reach the true fat-burning phase of sleep. Their body stays in storage mode until early morning or sometimes never fully switches at all. When insulin finally drops low enough, the body begins looking inward for fuel. It shifts from consumption mode to conservation and repair mode. And this is the moment most people never experience consistently. This entire process is subtle. You won't feel fireworks. You won't notice a dramatic internal shift. But metabolically, it's enormous. Your body moves from defending stored energy to accessing it, from storing fat to burning it, from chaos to rhythm. And the difference often comes down to one simple habit: how late you eat. By aligning your final meal with your body's natural rhythm, you're not adding more effort to your day. You're not increasing workouts. You're not slashing calories. You're simply allowing your biology to operate as it was designed to. As the evening deepens and lights begin to dim across homes in America, a powerful shift starts unfolding inside your brain. You don't feel it directly. You don't consciously activate it, but it happens with remarkable precision. Your brain begins releasing melatonin, the hormone most people associate only with sleep. But melatonin is not just about falling asleep. It's a metabolic messenger. From an evolutionary standpoint, melatonin was designed to rise when eating stopped. Darkness signaled safety, stillness, and fasting. During this time, your body wasn't meant to be digesting food. It was meant to be repairing tissue, consolidating memory, strengthening immunity, and when conditions were right, burning stored fat. Here's the critical detail most people never hear. Melatonin and insulin were never meant to be high at the same time. Insulin is your storage hormone. Melatonin is your rest and repair signal. When melatonin rises, insulin sensitivity naturally drops. That means your body becomes less efficient at processing incoming sugar. This isn't a flaw, it's protective design. At night, your body assumes food is no longer arriving. But when food does arrive during this window, late dinners, snacks in front of the TV, dessert before bed, your body experiences a hormonal mismatch. Insulin has to work against the grain. Blood sugar lingers longer in the bloodstream. Processing slows. Inflammation ticks upward just enough to matter over time. And excess energy gets routed to the most efficient storage location available: deep abdominal fat. That stubborn belly fat many people struggle with? It's often the metabolic consequence of repeated late-night hormonal conflict. When melatonin is high and insulin is forced to respond anyway, your body prioritizes protection. It stores energy instead of releasing it, and it does so automatically. There's no conscious override. But when eating ends earlier, something very different unfolds. By the time melatonin rises significantly, insulin has already returned to baseline. There's no hormonal traffic jam, no competing signals, no confusion. Your metabolism isn't stressed, it's aligned. That alignment changes everything. By midnight, if you stopped eating several hours earlier, your body is in a completely different state than it would be after a late snack. Insulin is low, blood sugar is stable, digestion is nearly complete. The store energy command has expired. And now, for the first time since dinner, your body is free to access what it has been holding on to. This is the doorway most people never consistently reach. When insulin stays low long enough, the metabolic gate opens. Your body begins tapping into stored fat for fuel. And here's the fascinating part: it often targets visceral fat first. Visceral fat is the deep abdominal fat wrapped around your organs. It's the type most strongly associated with insulin resistance, heart disease, and metabolic dysfunction. It's metabolically active. And when the hormonal environment is right, your body is eager to use it. Without incoming glucose from your digestive system, your liver shifts gears. It begins converting stored fat into usable energy. Ketones are produced to fuel your brain and vital organs. Your internal furnace turns on. While you're asleep, your body is quietly powering itself from the very tissue many people struggle hardest to lose. No extra workouts required. No extreme dieting necessary, just alignment, but this process is fragile. A single late-night snack can shut it down completely. If insulin rises again at 10:30 p.m. or 11 p.m., the fat-burning window gets pushed back. The furnace never fully ignites. The opportunity passes. And the body stays in storage mode until the next cycle. Night after night, that delay compounds. Between roughly 2 a.m. and the early hours before sunrise, something remarkable can happen if conditions are right. Insulin remains low. The nervous system has downshifted. Digestion is silent. This is when fat oxidation becomes highly efficient. Not because you're trying harder, but because nothing is interfering. Your body is not distracted by incoming food. It's not juggling competing hormonal signals. It's focused entirely on maintenance, repair, and energy balance. This is when stored fat becomes primary fuel. And this is why people who consistently align their evening eating patterns often notice their midsection changing first. The body goes where metabolic leverage is highest. Visceral fat is easier to mobilize under low insulin conditions. But remember, this window only opens if it isn't interrupted. Fat loss plans often fail because they focus exclusively on daytime discipline, calories, steps, macros, workouts, all important, yes. But they ignore what happens during the 1/3 of your life spent asleep. Your biology doesn't stop working at night. In fact, some of its most important work happens then. The difference between waking up metabolically refreshed versus metabolically stalled often comes down to whether your body had uninterrupted time to switch into fat-burning mode. And this isn't about extreme fasting. It's not about skipping meals all day. It's about creating a natural, consistent overnight gap between your final meal and breakfast. That gap allows insulin to fall. It allows melatonin to rise without conflict. It allows your internal clock to stay synchronized. And once that rhythm is established, your body stops fighting you. Instead of feeling like you're battling your metabolism, you begin cooperating with it. As the night moves into its deepest phase, another powerful hormone begins rising behind the scenes. It doesn't get the same attention as insulin or melatonin, but its influence is profound. Human growth hormone, often called HGH, surges during the early hours of sleep, especially when insulin levels are low. Most people associate HGH with muscle building or anti-aging. But its real power shows up here, in the quiet metabolic hours before sunrise. HGH is a preservation signal. It tells your body what to protect and what to use for fuel. When insulin is low and HGH is elevated, your body receives a clear instruction: preserve lean tissue, protect muscle, and draw energy from stored fat instead. This is why a simple overnight fasting window created naturally by finishing dinner earlier can be so effective. You're not forcing fat loss. You're creating the hormonal conditions that make it the default option. While you sleep, your body begins repairing tissue, strengthening bone, supporting collagen production, and reinforcing metabolic pathways. But here's what most people never realize. These repair processes require energy. And when there's no incoming glucose, that energy comes from stored fat. This is remodeling. It's subtle. You won't feel dramatic shifts. But you may notice something interesting in the morning: a slightly tighter midsection, a lighter sensation, less puffiness, a calm kind of energy instead of grogginess. That's not dehydration. That's metabolic housekeeping. Your body spent hours clearing out inefficiencies, reallocating resources, and tapping into energy reserves. Nothing extreme happened. No starvation, no crash dieting, no punishing workouts. Just uninterrupted time for your biology to finish what it started. By morning, you're in a completely different metabolic state than you would be after late-night eating. You may have gone 12 hours or more without food, and yet something surprising happens. You're not frantic with hunger. That shaky, urgent, "I need food now" feeling is often absent. Why? Because hunger hormones respond to rhythm, not chaos. When your body learns that food reliably stops at night and resumes in the morning, ghrelin, the hormone that drives hunger, begins to stabilize. Your system trusts the pattern. It doesn't trigger emergency signals. Overnight, your body has been using stored fat for energy. There's no panic, no metabolic alarm, no blood sugar crash demanding immediate correction. And at the same time, something powerful happens. Insulin sensitivity peaks in the morning. When you eat breakfast after an aligned night, your body is ready. Nutrients are absorbed efficiently. Blood sugar is handled smoothly. You're no longer fighting your metabolism, you're cooperating with it. This is why mornings after early dinners often feel clearer, calmer, and more energized. It's not just psychological, it's hormonal alignment. Even cellular cleanup processes, often referred to as metabolic housekeeping, have had time to operate. Your body clears out leftover metabolic debris from the previous day. Inflammation settles. Systems reset. The result isn't just better fat loss. It's metabolic confidence. And here's the best part: making this work doesn't require perfection. It doesn't require extreme willpower or rigid rules. In fact, it works best when it feels almost boring. If you notice mental hunger creeping in late at night, start with something simple. A cup of caffeine-free herbal tea can mimic the warmth and comfort of eating without triggering insulin. Often, the desire to snack is more about habit than true hunger. Light exposure matters more than most people realize. Bright overhead lights late at night send a daytime signal to your brain. That delays melatonin release and keeps your system in active mode. Dimming lights in the evening helps your body transition naturally into repair mode. You're not forcing fat loss. You're removing friction. If stopping earlier feels difficult at first, shift gradually. Move dinner earlier by 30 minutes for several nights. Then another 30. Small adjustments compound. Your body adapts faster than your mind expects. Consistency matters more than a perfect clock time. This isn't about restriction, it's about creating quiet. Enough quiet for insulin to fall. Enough quiet for melatonin to rise without conflict. Enough quiet for growth hormone to preserve muscle while stored fat fuels the night. Once that rhythm becomes familiar, something interesting happens. Daytime discipline feels easier, cravings decrease, energy stabilizes, and fat loss no longer feels like a constant uphill battle. Because the real work isn't happening when you're regrinding through workouts or resisting temptation during the day. It's happening while you sleep, night after night, silently. The truth is simple but powerful. Your body is not broken. It's rhythmic. And when you align with that rhythm instead of overriding it, your metabolism stops defending stubborn belly fat and starts releasing it. No extreme diet required. No endless cardio sessions. Just timing. And once you understand that, you can't unsee it. This video is for educational and informational purposes only and is not intended as medical advice. Individual results may vary depending on personal health conditions, lifestyle, and medical history. Always consult with a qualified healthcare professional before making changes to your diet, fasting routine, sleep schedule, or exercise habits, especially if you have diabetes, metabolic conditions, or are taking medication. The information presented here is designed to support, not replace, professional medical guidance. If this helped you see fat loss in a completely different way, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss what is coming next. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next video where we break down another overlooked metabolic secret that could change everything.